Okay, it's time to go live with episode 2. And in this episode, we're going to cover off kind of what the core principle of this series is and how it's possible to make so much money in the meme coin space, how I'm going to help you to drive your portfolios up in value, and the type of trader you need to look to be in order to make significant returns. Okay, so meme coins in 2025. I mean, we know that this space already has gained so much attention over the course of 2024. And I know that the majority of people that are listening to this video are already going to have a pretty strong idea on kind of the meme coin culture, the way that the meme coin space operates, the kind of the volatility included in the meme coin space. I'm sure that there's been big winners, big losers, round trips, everything you can possibly think of, all of those emotions that take place within the meme coin market. And like I said at the start, the purpose of this series really is to give you the best kind of skill set, psychology, thought process in order to be able to benefit and actually keep those returns that are possible to generate in the meme coin market. There are a number of types of traders that operate within the meme coin space, and usually they fall into two major brackets from what we see kind of on the social side of things. Number one is the scattered approach, and that's somebody who will be over here like in like trending markets, new pairs, meme scope. They'll be looking at all of this new creation and they'll be punting sol into each of these markets. So they're just going to be looking at what's being created. They're going to take some chances on lower market cap things in the hope that they're going to turn into big winners. And basically that's going to be the process. Okay. They're going to kind of like try and hit that side of things and run from there. Now, that isn't really what I'm going to talk to in this series. That's an approach that we can kind of discuss the implementation of and whether or not that's a kind of a right or a wrong way to go about things. But it's something that we want to consider further down the line. There's work to be done before we get to that point, and I'll go on to explain what I mean about that shortly. The other type of trader is the type of trader that might have some market experience already. Maybe they're kind of the meme side of things is they consider it too much information for them to take in. Or it might be somebody that wants to start thinking a bit more smartly about what they're doing in the meme coin market in order to execute better and to perform better in those markets. So that scattered trader that's just firing small amounts of sol into multiple markets, 99% of what they're hitting is just going to zero. That's not where we want to be. We're not interested in that scratch card approach where we're just taking these random shots into the market in the hopes that one of them pays off. Because realistically, there's no skill involved in that. There's no thought process involved in that. You are just as likely to win by going out, playing the lottery, buying scratch cards, and that's the process. We're interested in markets that have significantly stronger setups, whether that be narrative-based, whether or not that be technical-based, so what's happening on the charts. But that's really what we're interested here. And so I've got this chart up at the moment, Tetsuo, and this market is a really good example of one of those markets. Really nice market cap total in terms of hovering around this 40 million mark currently. It's obviously moved a little bit over the course of the last couple of days or so. But what we have here is we've got this market that's in a really strong range. This has been in a range for a month, and we're now looking at leaving the top of this range. Now, this for me is a premium example of what a great meme coin market looks like. Because what we have here is we have a really strong technical backing. We have a really strong reason on the chart to want to be a buyer of this. We have a really attractive market cap total when we're talking about the 40 millions. We're still looking for sizable moves in these markets. And it has enough liquidity for us to be able to put a little bit more size into this than we typically could do on those lower market caps. And the thought process around this is basically so that we can grow our portfolio. We want to be able to have more conviction in the plays we are taking, less of that diversified, scattered approach where we're just trying relentlessly to find a winner by throwing sol at everything, and instead having those more stronger conviction-based bets, again, based on either the narrative, the socials, or whether or not it's listed for us in the charts themselves. And that's where we want to be. So my plan here is to take you through the process of identifying these markets, being able to find some of the strongest setup markets, the reasons why we would look at those markets, again, whether or not that be based on the chart, whether or not that be based on market cap, and a blend of them. And so identification is going to be a really, really big part of this. And then also one of the major parts of all of this process, and what is so important, is the process of taking profit. And what operating in markets of this market cap size and this kind of like technical backing will do is it will begin to show you the importance of those take profits. It will begin to actually realize profits and put it back into your wallet for you, and will actually be able to kind of progress in that portfolio building. The amount of times that you hear people talking about, oh man, I wish I took profit on this shitcoin. It's just round tripped me. I was up so much. I should have taken profit. You hear people talking about, what the devs have done to the chart. They've just massacred the chart. It's financial crime everywhere. All that shit. The amount of time people spend complaining about not taking profit should drive home the importance of taking profit to you. So when we see markets that are up 2, 3, 4, 5x, and we're not taking profit, we're not realizing profit on that, there's a problem. Because that's not how we grow portfolios. We grow portfolios through consistent profit taking and losing that psychological element about kind of the FOMO of upside. So when price starts to move higher, it becomes very easy to start to rationalize that your coin is the best coin in existence, and you can generate 100 different reasons on why you shouldn't sell. You can generate 100 more reasons on why the market is so bullish and this is the next big thing and you should just keep on holding. And you'll also start to relate to other people in the space that have had big success from holding on to other tokens. That's the process that we go on. That's the psychological pull of the upside. Now, your brain, and I always say this from a trading aspect, your brain does a very good job in conditioning you to believe all of the positives. It does a very good job in explaining to you internally why you should hold, because there's so much upside. It will give you all of those things you've seen on Twitter about people turning $100 into 100 million. It will keep that at the front of your mind. What it's not so good at is rationalizing all the times that you've lost money, all the times that you've round tripped, and all the times that you don't take profit that you wish you did. Right? So the brain is very good at giving you the positive outcome in those moments, and you're far more likely to believe it because of the euphoria of price going up and your portfolio doing well. What we want to do, again, is we want to be able to kind of think about that a little bit more rationally without the emotion involved. We have no intentions of becoming community members in any of the coins. Apologies for that in advance, but we don't care. The name of this game is profit. Okay, I've got enough friends and family. I don't need to join any internet friends and family in this crusade. And so we want to be making sure that we have an active process to take profit, making sure that we're operating in these markets and getting the fuck out when we need to. And then going back to what we discussed at the start about that scattered approach versus this more concentrated conviction bet-based approach is once we start to build the portfolio, sure, we can dive into the real shitters in the trenches now. Okay, we can dive into all of those really low market cap stuff to try and take a shot because our portfolio has now grown to the level in which we now have additional capital available in order to utilize to take more opportunity in the market. So we need to grow to get to that point. And that also ties into our take profit message. We take profit because it arms us with more capital, which presents more opportunity for us in the market. It's as simple as that. The more money we have, the more disposable capital that we have, the more opportunities we can take. And that's the position we want to be in. So the focus of this at the start is the conviction bets. It's making sure we grow the portfolio. It's making sure we step up and ramp up on that side of things, and we move from there. So on the next episode, what we're going to do, and currently chatting to a few partners on this, on how we're going to be kind of conducting the series, but we're going to go through that process together. We're basically going to go through kind of like checking out the charts, diving into the charts, looking around, thinking about the narrative, and very much keeping on top of things from a YouTube publication side of things. We're going to be coming out twice a week with content, twice a week with videos, and so there's going to be plenty of things for you to digest. The other part of that is that From the actual markets perspective and the positions and the alts and the memes I'm going to be taking and moving into, all of that information is going to be directly available in the Haven. There's links down below if you want to sign up. So all of the entries, all of the portfolio stuff is going to be available in the Haven. So you can sign up there to get access to all of that. In terms of the tools that we're going to be using, as I said, having a discussion at the moment with a couple of partners on this and which way we're going to go with this in terms of the presentation method, and hopefully then we'll be able to just stick with one single platform, dive in and start kind of like showing this process live and as it evolves over the course of 2025. This isn't going to be some kind of, short-term thing. We're going to make sure that this series continues. We're going to make sure we stay on top of everything, give you as much knowledge, education, discussion, narrative, alpha as I possibly can over the course of this year. But like I said, if you need any of the signals, if you want to copy the portfolio, if you want to dive into more education on the Memecoin side, then the Haven is going to be the place for you to check all of that out. We're going to have a huge focus on that this year. The channel's already been created. We're already in action. We got position in 3 things already. And so that side of things is already kicking off. But very much appreciate you checking this out. Episode number 2. Be back very soon at the start of next week with episode 3, as we've done 2 kind of like prelude, introduction, thought process videos. Now it's time to cut all of that out and get into the action a little bit. So I will see you on the next one early next week.